T.B.Photo X1.5 TFX, and welcome back to another video. Well, this is gonna be a little bit of a, what should we say, expanding the effing family. Just gonna take a light meter reading here to see if I'm properly exposed, and yes, I'm actually shooting this at ISO 400 at 50. Shutter speed of 1/50th of a second and 25 frames a second, which means that I should use an aperture of 5.6 and a bit. So actually that's fine, because this Minolta IVF doesn't have 1/50th of shutter speed for some reason, so I'm using 1/45th of a second, so that shows it as accurate. But anyway, well, yeah, I'm just gonna put it back here. Turn it off, not drain the battery. But anyway, yeah, the little Nikon invoice cheat sheet. Let's see here now. Oh, yeah, expanding the effing family, Nikon, the effing family. So you've already seen these ones in previous videos. The Nikon F2, it was introduced in 1971, discontinued in 1980. It has a minimum shutter speed, I should say, of 1 second, and goes up to 1/2000th of a second. It has bulb mode and a flash X sync speed at 1/80th of a second. And also it has a self timer with a lever with numbers on it that goes up to a maximum of 10 seconds. It has a PC sync port up here, and it is compatible with the Nikon AS1 flash unit coupler, which you put over this part here where the rewind crank is. I'm actually reading this off the cheat sheet, so if you guys wondering. Let's see here. Yeah, this one, I think it's the DP1 prism finder, which has a 60-40 split center weighted metering system in it, which is kind of interesting, and it's compatible with the Nikon motor drives MD1, MD2, and MD3. And it has replaceable focusing screens, so you have, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, P, R, S, and T, which are the different focusing screens that you can use for this camera. And the units manufacturers, the units manufactured by Nippon Company, as it was known. In the 80s, they actually changed to Nikon Corporation. They made about 816,000 of the F2 and the different variants of it. Okay, a little bit about coffee. No, I'm not drinking coffee this time, it's actually tea. And for you guys, I'm not usually using merchandise, but if you know who these guys are, engage smug mode, you have my permission. Lovely. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Anyway, there we go. And a little bit like so. Yeah, and we're gonna go over to the F4. F4. F3 actually, Nikon F3. This one is a little bit more modern. You can see the pedigree, how it actually expands and so on. So the F3 was introduced in 1980 and was actually discontinued during the turn of the millennium. So in 2000 it was discontinued. It has speeds going from, what is it now? Yeah, 4 seconds up to, what is it now? Yeah, 1/2000th of a second. It has bulb mode and aperture priority. It was the first pro camera with dedicated aperture priority in my, as I've been able to tell. It has since this one has a electronic shutter, it has a manual shutter release at 1/60th of a second and a X sync speed of what I've been told is still 1/80th of a second maximum. Let's see, self-timer is electronic, and I think it's 10 seconds it's set to. So while this one is a mechanical, this one has electronic self-timer. You have as well here a PC port, and I have the Nikon AS4 flash unit coupler on this. And for this one I have the original prism finder, but I know one of the more desirable ones are the high point or HP prism finder that was introduced in a later variant of the Nikon F3. Let's see, and it's also this one has center weighted as well. So you have various focusing screens available for this one as well, and yeah, as you can see, I have the MD4 motor drive unit on this one. And so you have a couple of accessories for the F3 as well. So that's kind of a cool camera in its own right. Moving right along, the Nikon F4. This camera has been they've done so many videos about this on this camera on YouTube. For instance, you have Ted Forbes for the art of photography. He has done a brilliant video about the F4, link in the description. Also, Kai, formerly from Photo, or rather Digital Rev, he had a really great video about this, very funny in his unique playful style. And yeah, he basically thought that the front of the prism for this looked like, yeah, I think that was actually hilarious. I was laughing out loud. But anyway, introduced in 1988, discontinued 1997. It was not as long-lived as the F3 for some reason. But anyway, here you have 4 seconds up to 1/8,000 of a second shutter speed on the F4. You have bulb mode, you have time mode, and you have X-Sync mode. This one is the first real professional camera from Nikon, or rather the flagship professional camera that had manual, aperture priority, shutter priority, program mode, and program high priority. And it has a flash sync speed of 1/250th of a second. Keep in mind also, for all of you who are watching, that I am pulling all of this basically from these cameras' Wikipedia fan pages. So if any of these facts are incorrect, please put it in the comment section below so we can correct them at maybe a later date. Anyway, this one also, the F4, has a PC sync port and a first TTL hot shoe. That means that you can actually use the through the lens data to be sent to the camera flash. Also, the F4 was the first Nikon camera, or rather flagship Nikon camera, with multiple metering modes built in. So this one has center weighted, it has spot metering, and the first ever 5-segment matrix metering mode, which was very revolutionary for the time, and it was, I believe, developed for shooting slide film, E6 film. So for you guys who used to use Kodachrome, and for you guys now who are shooting the newly released Ektar, or no, Ektachrome I should probably say. Yeah, a classic is back, finally. That's the camera that would be a great benefit for it. Yeah, and also this one has the built-in MD21 motor drive. It has different shooting modes where you can have a low mode of 3 1/4 frame per second, and a high shooting mode of 5.7 frames per second, and also a quiet mode for 1 frame per second. Yeah, so that's actually, let's see now. That's basically the cameras that I already owned in the Nikon flagship series, but I think we're gonna do a little bit of a reveal now of the newest acquisition in the Nikon effing family. So yeah, you guys, here it is, in all its insane glory, the Nikon F5. In my opinion, the last real professional 35mm camera produced by Nikon. The F6, although that was the successor to this one, I don't really get that camera because as far as I have been able to find out, it is basically a Casio camera that has had Casio whited out and Nikon written in crayon, and that's basically a Jeremy Clarkson thing there. So no, it's not Nikon, it's just a Casio with Casio whited out in Nikon written in crayon. That's my basic Top Gear impersonation right there. Not really good, I know. But anyway, I think I'm more like James May than Clarkson actually. But basically the size of Richard Hammond. Anyway, the Grand Tour. But anyway, this is the newest acquisition in the Nikon effing family. The last real flagship with the original camera strap, I might add. Overshadowing now its older siblings. But anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of the specs on this camera. I got this for a really good deal, I really think, because it's in really good condition as well. But anyway, introduced in 1996, discontinued in 2004. Shutter speed goes from a whopping 30 seconds up to 1/8,000th of a second. So quite the jump here actually, at least in long shutter mode, long shutter speeds. But anyway, modes includes manual, aperture priority, program mode, and shutter priority and program high mode. This one has, let's see here, a shutter sync speed of, for flash that is, of 1/250th of a second, expandable up to 1/300th of a second for special applications. It also is the first one that has, let's see here, yeah, you have the flash system on this one is actually a little bit more advanced. You have the TTL hot shoe on it, but you also have slow sync and rear curtain sync. And I think that Matt Granger, you know, our favorite Australian photographer on YouTube, has some really old but brilliant videos about explaining the applications of slow sync and rear curtain sync. So I'm gonna put a link to those videos in the description as well, because they're brilliant videos with a lot of good information. Also, this one has a self-timer as well that is changeable from 2 seconds up to 60 seconds, so you can have an entire minute before it takes the images. Let's see here now. So autofocus, since this one actually, both the F4 and the F5 both have manual focusing, they have single focusing and continuous focusing modes, both the F4 and F5. But here's the little bit difference is that this one now has the DP30 finder on it, and that actually contains then a 75-25 center weighted, a 4mm spot, and a expanding of the matrix metering mode that was introduced in both the Nikon FA, which is another one of my favorite cameras, and the F4. Both those cameras had the original 5-segment matrix metering mode, but it was basically just light. The F5, however, has a built-in CCD RGB matrix metering, which means that this one actually takes color composition into account when it calculates a exposure value for the scene that you're composing. So it is from black and white, basically, matrix metering, to 3-color CCD matrix metering technology, which was revolutionary at the time. The motor drive on this one, it's built in, and you have 5.7 frames per second in high mode, and what is it more? You have a quiet of 1 frames per second. Unfortunately, I haven't written down the low continuous, so yeah, if you know that, put it in the link in the description, or rather put it in the comment section below. Anyway, it also has a plethora of focusing screens, B, C, F, E, F, G, J, K, M, P, and U. Manufacturer units, I don't really know, but anyway, another guy who actually started out his photographic professional career on the Nikon F5 is our favorite Philadelphia photographer with the big hairdo, Jared Poland. He actually had a little bit of a moment with this one. So let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna show you here now. I don't have any film in it, but let's see here. Yeah, listen to this. Yeah, it really is a machine gun when it comes to, you know, shooting in high continuous. Not that I think I'm gonna ever use this mode, but listen to that sound. It is fantastic. So yeah, I think that's a little bit enough of that that noise. Anyway, also this one was the first Nikon with a number of different focusing points. So I think it's a 5-point focusing system, which is choosable by this little dial back here, this D-pad for you who are gamers, and you have this little compartment with some extra features. So you have a lot of custom features in this. So I'm gonna try to get a hold of the manual for this one. I think it's available online and so on. But yeah, that's basically it. My little overview of the latest acquisition in my Nikon effing family, the Nikon F5, and I'm looking forward to doing some really brilliant shots with this during the spring and summer that is coming. So yeah, this is the entire range, and a little bit of a throwback to my latest video when I went over for my my cameras that I was supposed to use in my macro work. I would like to ask you this question then. Which one would you basically choose if I'm gonna use it with the Sigma 105mm macro lens? Do you think I should use the F4 or should I upgrade to the F5 or side grade really? Put it in the comment section below. I will have that as a little bit of a poll on this video as a final note. F4 or F5? Which one should I use for macro when it comes to 35? But anyway, this, as always, this is Tobias Bergstrom from T.B.Photo X 1.5 to FX, and as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So take care from now on. Bye.